invest in the development of your application to move it from iOS to Android to Windows Phone to whatever platforms, BlackBerry, whatever you happen to be on. And HTML5, if your application is an HTML5 and it's following the standards, and the standards are supported on the browsers, then you have a cross-platform application. So there's a strong business motive, strong financial motive for making HTML5 applications. Now, along with that, one of the thrusts, one of the main purposes of HTML5 is to move from a document-centric language. HTML5 on the web has usually been made for web pages. So you have documents and blogs and news sites. One of the big changes with HTML5 is that you're moving to an application rather than a document. So a couple of the small things that are doing this is, well, the standards committees that thought about this process thought, how can we simplify the development activities that are going on to turn HTML5 from a document process to an application process? And some very basic things they did were just simplifying the text. So now in HTML5, let me also say really quickly here too that this portion of the talk is a really introductory talk, an introduction to HTML5, and that our next session is going to be a deep dive going into JavaScript, libraries that you can use. It's a very technical. This is an overview. So I just want you to keep that in mind. So there's simplification. Your doc type is reduced. If you want to use Unicode characters, there's a very simple way to express it now. And here's what it looks like before and after if you have a basic HTML document. So again, there's a lot of emphasis on simplification of what's there. And these are just two examples. This philosophy goes throughout all of HTML5. A lot of things in forms, in audio and video, and CSS are simplified so that things that were hacked together in JavaScript previously can now be done really easily. I don't really expect you all to be able to see this, but these are the HTML5 tags. And there's a lot of new ones, especially over here in the sections area. We have article, nav, aside, section, header, footer, and groups. And this, again, is part of the change from document to application. I suppose these are document-oriented as well. But these tags are what are called semantic tags. And it allows programs that are, it allows you to add more meaning to your HTML. So you can very, very clearly call out what's an article, what is a navigational bar, what is a sidebar, and you can address those things not only in the code of your application, but third parties can also go and find out where the articles and navigation systems are too. Some of the other more unique ones are tags like keygen, which actually generate public and private cryptographic keys. Progress bars. Details, summary, and commands are semantic ways of adding data to your application. The time code, which is a little bit in flux, but there is an element for time, so you can indicate a timestamp. There are some more exotic tags like WBR, which just keeps your text from not being broken and moved to the other side of the page when it scrolls off the side. Maybe not terribly useful, but it's there. And of course, the three big ones that everyone talks about: video, audio, and canvas. Map 2. So I'll talk a little bit more about those three. Drawing with the Canvas API. And I hope that I'm connected to the internet here because I'm going to bring up some examples and we'll see if that works or not. But the Canvas is a way of, in many ways, it's a Flash replacement. It's usually not talked about like that. But the Canvas is a two-dimensional bitmap graphic that can appear anywhere on a page. So here's how you create the Canvas ID. You simply create a Canvas tag. You give it a width and a height and a name. And then in JavaScript, you can reference your canvas tag here and start drawing directly on your web page. So here's an example of how to create a rectangle, or how to set the style of the color inside the rectangle. And I'm hoping to show you just a couple of examples here. So, let's go here actually. So here's an example of a canvas animation. You know, it's really simple, but it's something that you wouldn't expect you'd be able to do in pure HTML and JavaScript unless you had Flash embedded. There's no Flash embedded here. If you want, you can look at the code. This is the code to it right here. Not all of it's there, but you scroll down. So you can have animation. You can cause objects to be moved around. You can start to create physics environments where you have gravity, motion, friction, and create compelling 3D and 2D applications. So I didn't look to see if my network is connected. Hopefully this will work. I'll load up a few here. Here's another example of an HTML5 application. This is done with Canvas, and this is an application which takes a Wikipedia article